I'm Jason Epperson. This is RV Miles, and it's time for the latest in RV and camping news. Welcome back, everybody. I'm back in the Mile Zero studio in Rock Island, Illinois, after a couple weeks on the road. Happy to be back. This news is coming out a day late because of my travels, but here we are. First up on Friday, Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park provided an update on the South Rim fire that is now 31% contained. Since the fire is still active, the park's total estimated loss is unknown. When the fire is 100% contained, formal damage and safety assessments will begin. Initial assessments, though, have determined that the South Rim Visitor Center, the administration building, and the entrance booth survived the fire. However, the facility management building, the Western National Parks warehouse, the welding shop, several pieces of heavy equipment, and the South Rim campground, along with numerous bathrooms and overlooks throughout the park, burned and were destroyed or are heavily damaged. On the morning of July 10th, lightning strikes ignited wildfires on both the north and south rim of Black Canyon of the Gunnison. Visitors and staff were safely evacuated, and the park is closed until further notice. A reopening date for the park will be considered when the fire is contained and safety assessments have been completed. Curacanti National Recreation Area is co-managed with Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park, and it remains open. Visitors are cautioned that there is a temporary closure, though, for boating on Blue Mesa Reservoir west of the Middle Bridge for air operations related to the fire. This is where they're getting the water for water drops onto the fire. And a quick update on the north rim of the Grand Canyon, where the Dragon Bravo fire has destroyed the historic Grand Canyon Lodge and many of the historic cabins and other structures. The Park Service has released new photos of the damage. The preliminary damage assessment still shows that the North Rim campground has survived the fire, but that was several days ago. The entire North Rim area will be closed for the rest of the season. The Dragon Bravo fire is currently 18% contained. And again, once it's fully contained, they will assess the damage of all the structures, including the North Rim campground. More in a moment, but first, this episode is sponsored by our friends over at RVmattress.com by Brooklyn Bedding, where you can get a real mattress for your RV from a real mattress company, not just a cheap piece of foam, a real mattress that replaces the piece of junk that probably came with the RV you bought. RVmattress.com is Brooklyn Bedding's portal where you can find Brooklyn Bedding mattresses in all the different weird sizes that RV manufacturers use, including the Olympic Queen or Camper King, as it's often called, Short King, Short Queens, different thicknesses, different bunk sizes, and a whole lot more. Their mattresses are toxin free. They're made in their factory in Arizona, shipped to you wherever you are in the country in a box. They're vacuum sealed. You unroll them, you let them expand, and you're off to the races for a good night's sleep. We've had them in our last 3 RVs and we have them in our home. We do really love them. We sleep on them every night. Trust me, every time I go to a hotel, I cannot wait to get back to my mattress at home. The best part is, for being a part of the RV Miles community, you get 30% off, which is the best deal they offer. 30% off at rvmattress.com/RVMiles with code RVMiles at checkout. And they wanted me to let you know that they will be at the Hershey RV show with mattresses to actually try out, and there might be even an additional discount there. So if you're planning on going to America's largest RV show in Hershey, Pennsylvania, coming up this September, you'll be able to find Brooklyn Bedding's booth there and try out some of their mattresses for yourself. The Oregon State Parks Department is facing a 14% budget shortfall, officials told OPB, Oregon Public Broadcasting. To avoid cuts, the state is looking for new business partners, which could include everything from new ziplining operations to tree climbing tours and unique sorts of lodging. For example, one current partner takes people to climb old growth trees in Silver Falls State Park for $150 a person. 5% of that goes back to the state. The state parks department has 3 basic funding sources, according to the article: camping and RV fees, lottery money, and concessions, which include businesses like tree climbing tours, cafes, boat docks, cabin rentals, and youth camps. To fill the shortfall, state parks are increasing camping and RV fees and adding more tent and yurt spaces. We've talked about that here on RV Miles in the past. And since the agency can't do anything about lottery income, increasing the number of concessions and offering sponsorships are the only other ways the agency can raise more money. Oregon has about 250 state parks. Last year, 54 million people visited an Oregon park, an all-time record. But without new revenue streams, the agency said it will likely need to cancel park expansions, reduce staff, and maybe even close a few parks in 2027. A few disconcerting incidents from campgrounds around the country in the past week. According to Western Mass News, a Connecticut man has been arrested for stabbing two people at the Mount Greylock campground in Lanesboro, Massachusetts. Last Friday, 47-year-old Jeffrey DeLuca of Wilton, Connecticut, stabbed one man in the chest and another man in the torso. Investigators say the stabbing was unprovoked and there were young children present at the time. The two men were taken to the hospital and are expected to recover quickly. And a car barely missed swimmers after landing in a campground swimming pool in Monson, Massachusetts on Sunday. The police department reported in a Facebook post around 1 p.m. police and fire responded to a call that a car had entered the pool at Sunset View Campground. They safely extracted the car's occupants and no injuries were reported. And a fire that destroyed two RVs at Green Acres RV Park south of Redmond, Oregon was set intentionally, and a woman was arrested on suspicion of arson and other charges, according to Central Oregon Daily News. A dog died in the fire. Investigators determined the fire was intentionally set by Jody Wakeman for unknown reasons. And finally, newcomer RV manufacturer Axiom RV has shared some photos of their first unit, a toy hauler, and this thing is one of the wildest floor plans I've ever seen. We've been following Axiom's slow rollout. This is the company founded by former Heartland RV executives, apparently with an axe to grind, as they've named the toy hauler Vendetta. And also remember, the Axiom RV executives are being currently sued by Heartland RV for stealing trade secrets. We previously reported that the Vendetta would have very few protrusions on the roof, no roof-mounted air conditioners, for instance. Now they've released a few photos on Facebook of the actual first floor plan. We still don't have a ton of details, but this is kind of crazy. The living area seats 10 with two 5-seater sofas and an ottoman that turns into a table. Toy haulers are notorious for small living rooms. Not this one. The trade-off is the kitchen is fairly small, but it looks totally serviceable. And did you notice the front door is in the slide? I've never seen that before. Let me know if you have. In fact, this thing is all slides except for the 14.5-foot garage. The bedroom slide actually feeds into the hallway. It doesn't look like you can really access anything but the garage with the slides closed up, but there is a second full bath back in the garage. There's a whole lot of linear accent lighting, very few of the little nipple lights, both on the inside and the outside. It's all this linear lighting. And we now know how they're dealing with the air conditioning. The unit has 3 household style mini split air conditioners. Let me know in the comments what you think about this monster of an RV. That's it for this week's RV and camping news roundup. Hey, remember our homecoming rally? It's right around the corner at the end of September. We hope to see you there in Amana, Iowa, right along I-80. We have a lot of fun and games, communal meals. The town of Amana is a great historic town with wineries, breweries, antiquing, and more. And it's just a great celebration of the end of the camping season. And we hang out together, have seminars, meals, and a whole lot more. We hope to see you there. All the information is in the description. Thanks a lot for being here, everybody. If you got something out of this video, hit the like button. If you want more like it, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.